I found that with depression, one of the most important things you could realize is that you're not alone. You're not the first to go through it. You're not gonna be the last to go through it. And oftentimes it happens. You feel like you're alone and you feel like it's only you and you're in your bubble. And I wish I had someone at that time who could just pull me aside and, hey, it's gonna be okay. It'll be okay. So I wish I knew that. Just gotta remember. Hold on to that fundamental quality of faith. Have faith that on the other side of your pain is something good.
We never realize how close depression is until it hits home. To hear The Rock, this idealized, strong, confident man we see so often on the screen, speak of his bout with depression brings a realization to the forefront that any of us, at any time, can be confronted with such issues. Nearly 10% of adults in the United States suffer from depression. However, because it is a mental disorder, it might be far more difficult to comprehend than, for example, high cholesterol. The distinction between having depression and simply feeling depressed is key to understanding yourself and your body in more ways than one. Almost everyone has felt feelings of depression at one point in their lives. Whether it be a bad grade, a job loss, an argument, or even a rainy day, all can trigger feelings of sadness. Sometimes there aren't even any triggers and it just appears out of nowhere. And depending on what type of depression you're experiencing determines how you go about dealing with it. Depression gets to all of us eventually, but that doesn't mean it has to keep you down. In this video, we'll be discussing the different types of depression, their symptoms, methods of prevention, and treatments, so that you don't have to feel so alone in this fight.
I've left the house twice in 4 months. And from that standpoint, I continued to say to people, I know there's an obsession with how things look, but has anyone talked about how it feels? Because right now, I could not feel lonelier.
As stated by the Duchess of Sussex, many people are so invested in the appearance of things that many symptoms often go unnoticed. It's not always about how it looks in regards to depression. If you or a loved one suffers from depression, maintaining appearances isn't always the best way to combat. You may want to take it into consideration the feelings of that person and how you can go about helping them work through it. Sometimes the best thing you can do is be a listening ear or a shoulder to cry on. Clinical depression is unique. It's a medical condition that won't disappear just because you want it to. Depression isn't a weakness. You can't simply snap out of it. Sometimes depression may require long-term treatment, but don't get discouraged. Most people with depression feel better with medication, psychotherapy, or on a carefully crafted balance of both. It lasts for at least 2 weeks and then dramatically improves one's capacity to work, play, or love. Depression comes in different types. The 4 most common types of depression are major depression, persistent depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, and seasonal affective disorder. Number 1, major depression. Major depression is the most common type of depression. It is characterized by a dark mood that clouds the individual and causes them to lose interest in activities that they otherwise found enjoyable. Symptoms of this type of depression include difficulty sleeping, changes in appetite or weight, fatigue, and feelings of worthlessness. Suicidal or death thoughts may arise. Number 2, persistent depressive disorder. This type of depression, formerly known as dysthymia, refers to a low mood that has persisted for at least 2 years but does not reach the intensity of major depression. Many people with this depression may operate daily but often feel down or joyless. Number 3, bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder, formerly known as manic depressive illness, causes spells of depression. Manic symptoms resemble depression symptoms. Grandiose ideas, falsely high self-esteem, decreased need for sleep, faster thinking and activity, and an increased pursuit of pleasure, including sex binges, overspending, and risk-taking. Number 4, seasonal affective disorder, SAD. This type of depression is related to changes in seasons and begins and ends at about the same times every year. It manifests as the days grow shorter in the fall and winter. It is estimated that about 5% of Americans experience seasonal depression each year. The mood shift could be caused by changes in the body's natural daily rhythms, the sensitivity of the eyes to light, or how chemical messengers like serotonin and melatonin function. Women are especially vulnerable to 2 forms of depression impacted by reproductive hormones: perinatal depression and premenstrual dysphoric disorder. It's not just behavioral symptoms either. Depression manifests physically within the brain. First and foremost, visible alterations with the naked eye and X-ray vision exist. Smaller frontal lobes and hippocampal sizes are among them. On a smaller scale, depression is linked to the abnormal transmission or depletion of certain neurotransmitters, particularly serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine, as well as blunted circadian rhythms or specific changes in the REM and slow wave parts of your sleep cycle, and hormone abnormalities such as high cortisol and thyroid hormone deregulation. However, neuroscientists do not yet clearly understand what causes depression. It appears to be caused by a complicated interaction between genes and the environment. Still, we don't have a diagnostic tool to predict where or when it will appear. Because depression symptoms are intangible, it's difficult to tell who is struggling with depression or not. Depression can be severe and life-altering, negatively impacting the quality of life and happiness of those who suffer from it. Even if you've experienced depression, there are still ways to mitigate its symptoms. There are many lifestyle changes and stress management approaches that can be used to prevent or avoid depression. Exercise. Regular exercise is one of the most beneficial things you can do for your mental health. Exercise can help cure and prevent depression by generating endorphins, increasing mood, and lowering immune system chemicals that might exacerbate depression. Reducing screen time. Limiting your time on social media can help you avoid depression. Increased social media use can lead to or exacerbate depression and low self-esteem. Social media can be addictive, and it's essential for staying in touch with family, friends, and even the workplace. Going to social media with a purpose in mind and not signing in numerous times a day just to kill time is a brilliant place to start. Connecting with others. Even if your schedule is hectic, connect with friends and family regularly. Attending social events when possible and developing new hobbies that allow you to meet new people can help you build new relationships. Socializing and acclimating yourself to social settings is a step towards mitigating feelings of loneliness depression can bring. Preventing stress. Chronic stress is one of the most common and preventable causes of depression. Learning to handle and cope with stress is critical for good mental health. Whether it be taking a walk to clear your mind or a few laps in the pool, be sure to carve out some time of your day to do things you enjoy. There's no point in winding yourself up if you never give yourself the chance to release. A balanced diet. Consuming a high-fat diet regularly can have the same effect on depression as chronic stress. Furthermore, an improper diet may deny your body the crucial nutrients required to maintain physical and mental wellness. You are what you eat, in more ways than one. When you nurture your body, you nurture your mind. To combat and prevent depression from the dietary front, you should eat balanced meals with plenty of vegetables, fruits, and lean proteins. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, the average person suffering from a mental illness takes more than 10 years to seek help. Some triggering factors of migraines include fasting, skipping meals, stress, lack of sleep, the high amount of nitrates, chocolate, cheese, and alcohol, foods that contain monosodium glutamate, commonly known as MSG,
a flavor enhancer. Foods that are very cold, such as ice cream or iced drinks.
Oftentimes, people take on the struggles with their mental health alone for the sake of appearance or obligation. Mental health issues are frequently viewed as minor inconveniences that can be shrugged off. However, the bottling of those feelings is a destructive tendency, many times leaving people in states where they can't feel like they can reach out. As Meghan Markle alludes to, there becomes a feeling where one doesn't even trust themselves with proper care of their mental health. However, there are a wide variety of highly effective treatments. For many, it takes the proper environment to channel those feelings of depression. For others, visits with a therapist or psychiatrist can often put people suffering from depression on the right track. In more extreme scenarios, electroconvulsive therapy can be beneficial, like a controlled seizure in the patient's brain to stimulate dopamine. Other intriguing treatments, such as transcranial magnetic stimulation, are also being researched. So if you know someone who is depressed, gently encourage them to look into some of these options. You could even assist with specific tasks, such as researching local therapists or compiling a list of questions to ask a doctor. These first steps may appear insurmountable to someone suffering from depression. Remind them, if they feel guilty or humiliated, that depression, like asthma or diabetes, is a medical disease. It's not a flaw or a personality attribute. They shouldn't expect themselves to get over it any more than they could get over a broken arm. They may feel guilty for struggling. Even openly discussing depression can be beneficial. Open discussions about mental illnesses reduce stigma and make it easier for people to seek care. And as more individuals seek treatment, studies of depression become more saturated with ways to mitigate and reduce the causes and the symptoms. Depression is usually unseen and undetected. Check on your family and friends and be honest about how you feel. If you think you or any of your loved ones might be depressed, consider consulting a mental health professional or even being a listening ear. Remember that you are loved and you matter. For more information about depression, click the link in the description.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, hit the notification bell to be alerted on our new videos. Also, visit the link in the description to join us on our journey to health, happiness, and prosperity.